Okay, draw a possible function. Okay, so you see part A there? That's the only point it gives you. It says f of 0 is 2. So what do you have to label on there? You have to label f of 0 is 2, which is right there. Everybody sees it? Nice. So what is it saying? First it's saying, let's go from the bottom to the top. This part right here says that it's rising from negative infinity going all the way to negative 2. And then what happens there? Does it start going down again? No, this is important to realize. Look on the first derivative side. It's rising, the derivative is 0, and then what is it doing immediately afterwards? Rising. So does that mean it's a max or a min or neither? Neither. It's going up, it's slowing down, and then it's going to keep on going up.
Oh, so it just stops.
It's just slow. It's like a temporary ledge.
Okay.
One instant, it's not going up, but it slows down and it keeps going back up. It also coincides. Look at this. It's concave down here, and then it turns to concave up. So what can you actually tell me about that point right there? What point? What would you call that point? This would be a what? Yes, that would be a point of inflection. And do we know if it's exactly there or not? Could it be lower? Could it be lower? Yeah, we just know it has to be lower than 2, right? Because it has to keep rising to get to the y-intercept. It's important to see that. Okay, and then what happens? There's also something that happens, right? So there's how many points of inflection are there? There's 2 of them. There's 2 of them because it's going to go concave down to concave up to concave down again. And then you have a max. Now, does that kind of, where is it increasing?
From negative infinity
to where?
4.
Ah, so you would say that, but here's the thing. Is it increasing at negative 2?
Oh,
It's not, right? So you would say negative infinity to negative 2 union negative 2 to 4. That's where it's increasing. You'd have to take out that negative 2. That's important. Very important. It's not, for that one instant, it is not increasing. What makes that 0? Negative 3. You do negative 3, this, and then 1, negative 1, negative 9, negative 3, negative 36. And what's the first step?
Oh, you bring down the 1.
You bring down the 1. Go from there. So what do you multiply by each time? What do I multiply this by? Negative 3. So it's going to be negative 3, negative 4, 12, 3, negative 9, negative 12, 36, and 0. So what does that tell you now? You now know that it factors into x plus 3 times what? Constant x, x squared, x cubed. So what's it going to be?
X cubed
Minus
4x squared
plus
3x
minus.
12.
Now you still are not done if you wanted to, if I asked you to completely factor this, because that's not factored. What method could you try to use on that one? There's one method you could try to use. It's the only method you have. Grouping. Exactly. So it's going to be x plus 3. What can you factor out? X squared times x minus 4. What do you factor out here? What do you factor out of the next two right here? 3 times x minus 4. So what does it turn into? X plus 3 times x squared plus 3 times minus 4. If this was the polynomial, what would the zeros be for this polynomial? Can you tell me what the zeros would be for this polynomial? X equals, if these, so the zeros would be what? And what? That, don't skip the middle. What's the last one? 4. This right here, x squared plus 3, does that touch the x-axis? Does that ever touch the x-axis? It does not, so that doesn't give you any zeros. So how many zeros does this polynomial have? 2. So these two things are to practice the fact that you will have to find zeros when you're doing your graphic analysis. You're going to have to find zeros. Okay, so this is what I'd like you to do now. I'd like you to do this. Try this one right here. Let's do it in groups. How about you move next to somebody? Negative 3, 0. Okay. What's C? And what's G? What's G? 2, 0. Nice. What's B? 3 decimal places if you can. 2.528.
Yeah.
Hold on. 528. Thank you. Button. If you hit STO and then like alpha B, every time I call B, guess what it is? It's that number. So you can store. So let's say you come up with some big decimal that you don't want to have to type over and over again. STO. All the green letters which are above each key in the upper left, upper right. Well, you can't really see it right there, but on your calculator you can pick a name. So like alpha tangent would be G. And guess what you can do? alpha b plus alpha g. Look what you can do, enter, and then if you wanted to, remember how you evaluate a function like this? Usually you would type in the number. Guess what you can type in instead? What does that mean? That means evaluating that function at b. Evaluate that function at b. You hit enter on this, and it's plugging that number into the equation. So you don't have to keep on typing up big decimals if you save everything. You can save things. I highly recommend that. Because when should you round in math class? At the end. Round.